Coming up on the 2014 FIFA World Cup magazine, we pay a visit to 3 host cities. We're with officials from FIFA and the LOC as they travel to Recife, Natal and Brasilia. And we discover how football has helped shape Brazilian society over the past 100 years. Our journey starts at the Home of FIFA in Zurich. In May, a little over 25 months ahead of the big kick-off at Arena de São Paulo, the Brazilian sports minister and officials from the local organising committee accepted an invitation from the FIFA president to meet in Switzerland to review the work in progress in Brazil and to establish the agenda for the next 2 years.
The main goal today was to bring together in a way, for the first time, this group, because it's the first time that we met also with Bebeto as a member of the board of the local organizing committee, to have the government and FIFA and again the local organizing committee, and to exchange some, in a very open way and transparent way, the challenges we have and all what has to be done for the Confederations Cup and for the World Cup.
Secretary-General Jerome Valk headed FIFA's delegation in the 5-hour meeting with their Brazilian guests. Previously identified challenges were discussed at length. The various teams of experts from the Brazilian government, FIFA and the LOC had prepared detailed reports, and all were given a full airing during the talks.
We reviewed all aspects of activities we have undertaken in our preparatory work for the World Cup. We stressed various areas of responsibility for the government, local organising committee and FIFA. We also discussed the stadium construction process, our urban mobility projects, security and telecommunications. We were able to demonstrate our accomplishments, as well as re-emphasising the full commitment of the Brazilian government to do everything possible to stage a World Cup that will meet the expectations of all organisers from Brazil and the world.
The joint FIFA-LOC team spearheading all preparations for the 20th edition of the FIFA World Cup received a boost when the government of Brazil introduced Deputy Sports Minister Luís Fernandes as a permanent member of the board of the local organising committee. Joining him was FIFA Executive Committee member Marco Polo Del Nero, himself a Brazilian. The team, which also includes former World Cup winners Bebeto and Ronaldo, is working well together.
We will adhere to all the deadlines involved in our construction projects. We will closely monitor all work in progress. But we have primarily reinforced the unity between all parties concerned. That way we ensure that there is a great deal more understanding of all potential issues that we may face along the way. And we can offer quick solutions for any problems.
Having established a solid team and an impressive support network, FIFA, the LOC and the Brazilian government now plan to meet every 6 weeks. These gatherings involve visits to the 12 host cities, and there'll be a regular exchange of ideas in the months leading up to the Confederations Cup and the FIFA World Cup itself.
As a united group, we have always maintained a dialogue and will remain together in every sense when we visit the stadia, at our meetings and when exchanging ideas. We will sincerely be loyal to our main objective, which is to do our utmost best, so that the next World Cup in 2014 will be a demonstration of competence, ability, and above all, unity of all Brazilian people involved in this great project.
Recife, in the northeast of the country, is the fastest growing city in Brazil. Located on the easternmost tip of the South American continent, it's home to over 4 million people, making it the 5th largest metropolitan area in Brazil. When Brazil first staged the FIFA World Cup back in 1950, Recife was one of the 6 host cities, but it was the only one in the north. Its share of the 22-game tournament was a single first-round encounter between Chile and the United States. 64 years later, 25 of the matches at the 2014 tournament will be played in the northern part of Brazil. Recife's 44,000 capacity Arena Pernambuco will play host to 5 games, including one in the round of 16. The futuristic arena, part of a bigger state government urbanization plan, namely Cup City, was the first stop on the FIFA LOC tour of 3 host cities in late June. The visit took place 7 weeks after the 2 bodies met in Zurich. Among those present for the LOC was Bebeto, who was thrilled to be making his debut, this time off the pitch.
It was an honor for me. It was like having been called up to the Brazilian national team or just to defend my country. I am no longer a player, and I did not have the pleasure of playing in a World Cup on home soil. But as a member of the local organising committee, I now have this opportunity to help organise a great World Cup. And God willing, this will be one of the greatest World Cups of all time.
To further facilitate that goal, FIFA has appointed renowned Recife artist Romero Brito as one of its ambassadors for the 2014 FIFA World Cup. The 48-year-old painter and sculptor, who's now a Miami resident, was thrilled to be joining his compatriots Ronaldo and Bebeto and FIFA's Secretary General on the whistle-stop tour.
It's very emotional to be here and see the construction of the stadium. Everybody is enthusiastic and especially thrilled to see our friends Bebeto and Ronaldo playing football here behind me. I even played and took a couple of penalties. It's great to see all of this eagerness. I'm certain this stadium will provide many great emotional moments during the World Cup.
The first leg of the 3-city tour concluded with a visit to Palacio do Governo, which is the official residence of the Pernambuco state governor. For Brito, the local boy made good, it was the perfect opportunity to present his first work of art for the 2014 tournament.
I am delighted to be here today with the Vice Governor and to be a part of this delegation. I'm grateful for being asked to become a World Cup ambassador in Brazil and to accompany Jerome Valk on this trip. I'll be doing several works of art. This book is my first one, which is inspired by the flag of our beloved Brazil. I would like to present it to our Vice Governor. I'm very happy to meet him here in person, and I'd like to thank you for your service to our state.
I would like to express my sincere gratitude for this book. It's an honor to receive this from one of Brazil's main artists. We're getting ready. This technical visit underscores the importance of us being together as a unit, gearing up for next year's Confederations Cup. Our projects are progressing at a fast rate, and I hope that we can comply with the set time frame, so that we can stage the Confederations Cup here next year.
Recife's Arena Pernambuco was confirmed in May 2012 to host 3 of the 16 matches at the FIFA Confederations Cup next June. Recife is home to Santa Cruz, one of Brazil's best-loved clubs. Its 63,000-capacity Arruda Stadium was built in 1972, in time for the Brazil Independence Cup, an invitational tournament staged to mark Brazil's 150 years of independence. Arruda has since been home to a club with principles, a club founded 98 years ago.
For the first time here in Pernambuco State, a club was established on matters of principle. They allowed black and white players to play together. Santa Cruz broke the norms by doing that. Acceptance of the black players within the club was deemed a sporting initiative at first, but in reality it went far beyond that. As a result, the society of Pernambuco, and in turn the society of Brazil, became more plural.
se tornar mais integrada.
Founded by 11 teenagers back in 1914, Santa Cruz instigated a social revolution. Like other clubs, this was more of a social entity, with sports other than football initially proving more popular. As for Santa Cruz's inclusion of black footballers, this move generated fierce resistance from rival clubs.
It's common knowledge here that when one club allowed black players to join them, then other clubs accepted that they should play them, with the condition that there would be no physical contact between the two races when playing against one another. Black players couldn't touch the body of the white players. Many believe that as a result we became a country of great dribbling players, as different races were not allowed to have bodily contact on the pitch. Black players would have to move with the ball at their feet from one side to another with great finesse and agility. But they would always have to avoid any physical contact.
Football was introduced to Brazil by the Sao Paulo native Charles Miller in the late 19th century. With the advent of rail network, its popularity soon spread. Initially, it was a white man's game, the preserve of European migrants, workers who played whenever they downed tools. But the black population was curious and keen to get involved. They quickly improvised, using various spherical objects for balls. The game played would soon change their lives.
For the first time ever, there was a chance for them to be admired. Black players had never been the subject of admiration before. Black players hadn't even been considered people. Black players were just objects, things. But their participation in a sport that was rapidly growing in popularity turned them into heroes, and they would be greatly admired for their skills. As a result, football instigated important changes in Brazilian society at large. From the psychological point of view of a black man, it was enormously important that they felt admired and respected for the first time because of their football talent.
Silvio Ferreira has done extensive research on the history of black players, as well as their rise to prominence in the state of Pernambuco and Brazil as a whole. Now a director, Ferreira failed in his bid to play for Santa Cruz in his younger days, but the club remains a lifelong passion of the psychology professor.
The fans support the club because they love their team and they love its colours. But there really is something more profound in the way they lend their support to the team for generation after generation. They're conscious of the fact that Santa Cruz carries the flag of social and racial justice.
And it's precisely those ideals that keep Santa Cruz's fan base growing. In the 1970s and the 1980s, club directors would order a gate to be opened 20 minutes from time so that those without money could come and watch their team. Rival fans referred to that initiative as the Hour of the Miserable. It was anything but. On the pitch, Santa Cruz have suffered huge setbacks of late. Between 2006 and 2008, they dropped from the 1st to the 4th division, becoming the first club to suffer 3 successive relegations in the national championship. Having played 3 seasons in Brazil's lowest tier, they finally gained promotion to Serie C last year. And in May, Santa Cruz celebrated a 2nd successive state championship, their 26th overall. Their loyal fans never deserted them. Last year, Santa Cruz recorded the highest club attendance for a single match in all of Brazil. It's what the club has always stood for that keeps them coming back.
Much has been said about the race issue in Brazil for many centuries. But not many people talk about the contribution of football clubs, and what they did to advance the plurality of the races. Look at the fans, and look also at the makeup of the players on the pitch. That's an example of what Brazilian society should really be like.
The founding fathers of Santa Cruz deserve much credit for their pioneering actions almost a century ago. What they instigated and what their descendants continued helped make Recife the all-inclusive city it is today. 260 kilometers to the north of Recife lies the coastal city of Natal, the state capital of Rio Grande do Norte. The 800,000 people who live here enjoy a tropical climate throughout the year. Thankfully, oceanic winds spare the residents and the thousands of tourists extreme temperatures, making Natal an ideal holiday destination for both domestic and international visitors. For the representatives of FIFA and the LOC, business, not pleasure, was on the agenda when they arrived in the city. Natal is just a 40-minute flight from Recife, and of the 12 host cities spread across this vast and diverse country, none are in closer proximity than these two.
Every Brazilian state has its own culture and characteristics. That, combined with the size of the Brazilian territory, is the biggest challenge we face. But, thanks to our collective efforts, faith, confidence, and above all capability of our people, we will overcome all that we may face along the way. I have no doubt that we will demonstrate to the world that football is not the only thing that we excel in. We will prove that Brazil is not just big in football, music and carnival. Brazil has other things to offer the world.
A small private dinner was first on the menu for the officials from FIFA and the LOC following their arrival in Natal. It was hosted by the state governor, Rosalba Ciarlini, and everyone, it seemed, was keen to get a glimpse of the city's high-profile guests.
This is certainly the biggest project we've ever undertaken. We've never staged an event of this magnitude in Natal or in Rio Grande do Norte. So we have to well prepare in terms of mobility, welcoming our visitors and our public spaces. We are building a modern stadium in accordance with the World Cup regulations. We also have to consider security, health clinics and everything that a huge event would require. I should add, we have staged a huge event on an annual basis the last 21 years, our carnival. So we are accustomed to planning to receive thousands of visitors. This carnival has always been a success.
After a good night's rest and one or two post-breakfast meetings, the delegation paid a visit to one of the state government's biggest projects, which got underway in January 2011. When plans were approved to replace the city's stadium, the Machadão, with the brand new Arena das Dunas, the local government insisted that all the material, construction or otherwise, from the old venue be either reused or recycled.
Currently, we have completed 25% of the building project at the Arena das Dunas. We have 4 urban mobility projects in the pipeline, of which one has started. We have contracted the other 3 projects. I would say that we have secured all necessary resources to complete all our projects. As for services such as security, we're in the process of commissioning that work.
The presence of Ronaldo and Bebeto at the site visit was a huge fillip for the workers, whose task is to deliver a stadium that will be very much in keeping with the surrounding area. Natal's sand dunes are a popular tourist attraction in these parts, and they'll be a feature in the design of a stadium which is sure to catch the eye.
I think it will be quite frustrating for me. All these new stadiums in Brazil, and I will not have the opportunity to step into them as a player any longer. That will torture me. But I'm certain they will be a great source of inspiration and fans will enjoy them. These new venues will benefit Brazilian clubs and will see the best ambience anywhere in 2014.
The Arena das Dunas is due for completion in December 2013, and after the World Cup, it will host a variety of major state, national and international events, making it a truly multi-purpose facility. There's still much work to be done, of course, and Ronaldo, together with his FIFA and LOC colleagues, will be back here in the coming months as the impressive structure continues to take shape. Welcome to Brasilia, the federal capital of Brazil. Of the country's 27 states, Brasilia is by far the smallest, comprising an area of less than 6,000 square kilometres. It's home to government agencies and foreign diplomats, and for one ambassador, it was great to be back in Brasilia again.
This role as ambassador is really important for me. I always wanted to be a diplomat, but then I started painting. My idea was to travel around the world, meet people, and talk to as many of them as possible, and of course paint them. I've done all that, but as for becoming a diplomat, well, I received this invitation to act as a World Cup ambassador. This appointment is very important to me. I think sport and art together bring about happiness and creativity in all of us.
In her first month in office in 2011, President Dilma Rousseff dedicated an entire day to the arts. A fan of Romero Brito, he was her guest at the presidential palace.
This painting is very special to me. It represents my admiration for President Dilma. I admire her courage, her dedication, and the sentiment she has for Brazil. Obviously, this is a unique moment for our country. Therefore, we need people with a great deal of love and care. I think it's a wonderful moment. This painting shows the love she has. Look at the heart and the colours of Brazil, as well as the colours of the President's party.
At the conclusion of the three-day, three-city tour, the 6th LOC Management Board meeting was convened. On the agenda was a review of operational plans for both the Confederations Cup and the World Cup itself.
There is a plan in Brazil to increase the capacities of the airports, to increase the level of accommodation, hotels, etc., to increase the quality of the roads and the public transport. And it is over a period of time. And we, FIFA and Brazil, made a commitment in 2007 to deliver a part of this program by 2014.
The FIFA World Cup will be played, but FIFA insists that the tournament should leave a legacy beyond the new stadiums for the host country. All that's being done to improve the infrastructure and the urban transport will be part of the very important legacy that this World Cup will leave for our people.
The Estadio Nacional de Brasilia will be one of those legacies. Once completed, the 70,000 all-seater stadium will be another breathtaking architectural landmark in this relatively young city. The stadium will be the second largest venue at Brazil 2014.
Brasilia is making great efforts for the opening match of the Confederations Cup. We will conclude the construction of this stadium in advance of our deadline, and we will stage a great Confederations Cup, which is a prelude to the World Cup, the greatest spectacle of all.
The stadium visit concluded with an impromptu penalty shootout. Bebeto took his turn in goal, but he was unable to keep out a well-placed effort from Sports Minister Aldo Rebelo. It was all good fun, but you get the feeling the two former strikers would love to have been involved in 2014.
I think that Ronaldo will enjoy all this period until the World Cup. I'm sure it will be a very difficult day for him when on this stadium, on this pitch, there will be the kickoff on the 15th of June 2013 of the Confederations Cup with Brazil playing I don't know which team, but I'm sure that Ronaldo would have loved to play in Brazil a World Cup.
And with that, the tour came to an end. It had been a hectic schedule, but the visit reaffirmed the commitment of all concerned to deliver a successful FIFA World Cup.
We came to 3 different cities with 3 different situations, Recife, Natal and Brasilia. It's also 3 different kind of stadiums. I have to admit that, I mean, firstly you see the atmosphere and the support the workers and the cities are bringing, but also you see how much work still have to be done to make sure that we are ready on time for the Confederations Cup and the World Cup. So again, it's essential that we are coming quite often, but the good news is that we are really working in a closer partnership with the government and the local organizing committee than before.
Que chapada!
Next time on the 2014 FIFA World Cup magazine, we return to Natal for an extended stay. We'll discover how the city's football clubs fare in this particular corner of Brazil. And we meet the only man from Rio Grande do Norte who's ever represented Brazil. Until then, até logo.